Welcome. Wow, it's been such a long time since I've been in the hot seat. I feel like I've had myself a little creative lull or just spending a lot of time sort of mulling over topics, but then also being like, I want to learn the lesson before I start speaking on it. I thought I'd dive into a topic that I'm always really interested in, which is the topic of communication. I'm in my communication era. It's been really funny seeing myself in action, just thinking in my mind about I'm such a good communicator. Like it just comes naturally to me. And then when it's like crunch time to actually talk about things, just how tricky I've found it, just really because I haven't wanted to hurt feelings or things like that, but also probably because um, yeah, some sort of fear. But it's something that I'm really getting more acquainted with at the moment. So I'm excited to see what I learn in that department. I wanted to talk a little bit about this is something that I'm learning as a 30-year-old. I can't even believe it, but I didn't even realize how much of my life I've spent just in my head instead of, just sussing out what's going on in the body or just like binding the two. So recently what I've been doing is when I'm like really in my head, I've been noticing like what is the thought, and then I've been noticing what's the sensation in my body and just seeing, because I feel like the thought in the head creates a sensation in the body. So just being able to sort of meet them both and just sort of accept that they're there. It's just like you kind of have to hold them both. Something else I'm learning quite late in life is the art of emotional regulation and taking full accountability for my emotions and coming down from my emotions or coming up from my emotions, basically. So it's been really funny to notice what like I do subconsciously there. Yeah, it's something that I've really been enjoying paying attention to is like when I'm in a low moment, just kind of trying to meet that low little moment with a little bit more curiosity and just like a little bit more love. So I feel like I've been learning a lot about how to give my nervous system what it needs when it's high, give my nervous system what it needs when it's low, and then hopefully just try and maintain that middle spot for as much as possible. Because, yeah, it's inevitable that life is going to be stressful at times. Something else that I've been thinking a lot on is polarities, and always just thinking about this how everything literally just has two sides. Every story, every sacrifice, every choice made, it's just like you'll make this choice and it can be so epic in a way and can be so kind of not ideal in a way. Same with like personality types, like somebody who's like extremely funny, that can be the best thing about them, but it can also be the worst thing about them in that they use their humor to be really self-deprecating. Something I've been noticing a bit of is trying to, I guess my thing is I really like my mind and how much I think about things, but then also it can be like my worst enemy because if I don't get it in check, it'll just sort of take me for a ride. So yeah, that's kind of funny. Polarities I see as well in relationship, like when you're coming into a conversation, I see it in that every side has validity. So it's interesting noticing that a little bit more, noticing the need to rest and the need to like grind and get it done, noticing like two sides of that. It's just funny. I just really feel like there's two sides to everything. Again, masculinity and femininity, two sides. We each have the polarity within us, which is masculine, again, is more of the doing, the achieving, the logical, the stoic mind. That's kind of, yeah, a lot of action. The feminine is more the flowy, the intuitive, the feeling, a little bit more, I guess we'll say flowy, but yeah, they both work together and we need them both. So that's somewhere else I've been noticing that. Polarities in night and day, in just seasons of how we feel, how, you can't have the lows without the highs, you can't have the creative moments without the creative droughts. You can't have those like epic times in relationships without those really freaking tough times where you think it's the end, but it's actually just time for an upgrade. So that's something cool in life, just like observing that, noticing myself responding in healthier ways. And yeah, every time I notice something in somebody else that makes me freeze and go, oh, I like just to turn it around to myself. Be like, if I'm noticing something cool that I like, being like, oh, do I possess that? And if I'm noticing something that I'm not super fond of, simply turning it back on myself again. So yeah, I guess it makes life more like a game. But yeah, I've also been enjoying doing more, we'll say, hard things. So, I mean, have to always be consistent with exercise. I just think that's like so important. But doing more things like cold swims and reminding myself it's okay when I'm not achieving, basically. I feel like, I don't know if it's mine or if it's a collective thing or what the fuck it is, but recently I've just been going through this thing and I feel like I'm on the other side of it because it's not feeling emotionally charged while talking about it. But I just feel like I went through a bit of a just like, what the fuck am I doing next kind of crisis. Like, what am I here to do? How am I going to give back? Do I even want to give back? Am I just pretending like I'm here to help? And then just sort of coming back to the idea that I am just here to like share and help. It was just a really nice soft realization, but you really got to have those like moments of chaos for it to clear. But no, I feel like something that is so fucking cool is that when you turn 30, I swear to God, it's a, a pretty immediate shift into feeling more stable. I feel like they don't really warn you about how tricky it is to move through your 20s to your 30s. Like, I feel like that's the time where a lot of people naturally leaning on things to help get them through, to top them up at the end of the day, like addiction, social media, alcohol, just weed, things that are just going to be instant dopamine, or it's antidepressants, or it's, pharmaceuticals or whatever. I'm guilty of it too. I ain't no saint. We all kind of probably find ourselves leaning on something or leaning a little too far on it and just like again swinging the pendy. So yeah, I think something that's not talked about is how tricky it actually is to move through your 20s and just become okay with the person that you are without like giving in to too many of the stories that you tell yourself in those years, because I feel like a lot of the 20s is about like dissolving, for me anyway, it's been a lot about dissolving certain stories, shaping the person that I want to be. And I feel like it's been such a time of like learning and just being okay with being still and being okay with really just reminding myself of how good the journey is and just how I don't want to be someone that just dangling the carrot energy where I'll be happy when I get to this. I'll be back soon. I just kind of wanted to jump on here and do a little express chat and just sort of warm up the voice cords and see what he do. So, thanks for listening. Chat soon.